Happy Saturday, everybody. Welcome back into the card closet. Good to have you again. Got another episode here with some pre-war cards that I've been picking up the last few weeks. Thought I'd show those off to you. First one up here is an Emery Rigney from the 1926 exhibit set. One thing I like about this is that it shows really good indication of the age. I mean, most people really like cards that are in excellent condition, but from this era, there's some stories to be told with this baby. And this one was so cheap that I just couldn't turn it down. I mean, I think it was in the $10 range, $15 range. He's pictured in a Detroit Tiger uniform, but it shows that he is a member of the Boston team there from 1926. So glad to add that to the collection. And up next, we've got a 1934 play ball, or batter up, I should say, of Hall of Fame catcher Rick Farrell. This one is one I've been after for a while. There just haven't been any good examples out there that I could find, and I was kind of getting impatient with it, so I went with the best one I could find, which was this example, which has obviously been folded, possibly even his silhouette there was popped out at one time, but I got a good price on it. I'll probably upgrade this when possible, but you just don't see this particular player for some reason in any better condition than that. So that's Rick Farrell from the Batter Up 1934. And then I picked up 3 cards from 1906, and I was pretty happy to make these pickups. I'm working on the Red Sox team set from 1906. After picking up these 3, and with the 3 I already have, which I've showed before in a video, I only now am missing Jimmy Collins and Cy Young. Now, Cy Young, I don't know if I'll ever own that card, but I think Jimmy Collins is a possibility someday. He's a Hall of Famer, though, and goes for a good premium right now. So I'm looking for a good deal there. But first up here, we have Bill Deneen. Bill Deneen played for the Red Sox in the 19aughts, however you say that. And he was a pitcher. And he, if you know your World Series history, he was the Red Sox starting pitcher in the very first World Series in 1903. He pitched in 4 of the 7 games, and his record was 3 wins and 1 loss. And I believe it took 5 games to win the series that year. I think it was best of 9. Or it was best of 7 and they just played out all 7. I forget the details. But Bill Deneen, anyway, won 3 of those games for the Red Sox. So he was a big part of their World Series championship in the first World Series. He won 20 games, I believe 4 times in his career. Had something like 170 wins over his career, but even more losses. So, he was an average pitcher, but came up big at the biggest moment. So that's Bill Deneen. Again, these are Fan Craze card game from that era. Next up is George Winter. I know it says Winters with an S, but his name is actually George Winter, and he played for the Red Sox for about 7-8 years. He was a pitcher. He won 16 games twice, and those were the highlights of his career. He did not pitch with them in those early postseason successes that they had. I don't see that he made any postseason appearances, but George Winter, famous nonetheless for sporting that lovely stringed shirt that he's wearing here. Look at the hair too on these guys, these hairstyles, we're talking 115 years ago now. Quite something. Now, you probably noticed that these are raw. I'm pretty brave since I have a loop, and since I know what to look for in all these, and since eBay is very return friendly, I get a little braver buying these, knowing I have something here in hand I can compare it to under the loop and look for all the gotchas that might indicate that it's not authentic. And all three of these that I'm about to show you here, they pan out as good. And now the mystery man. This is Billy Owen, 1906 Fan Craze. And first of all, I just have to say that at first glance, when I first opened the envelope and saw it, just at quick first glance, I thought he looked like Ian Curtis of Joy Division. The more you look at it, the less he does, but just that quick first glance, I thought he did. So Billy Owen is a mystery man because for many, many years, nobody was able to identify who he was. So there never was a Billy Owen that played for the Red Sox. And in fact, there never was a Billy Owen that played major or minor league baseball. And so back in the day, there was obviously a mistake made back in the day. They probably knew who it really was, but time went on, time forgot, and it wasn't. And just in the last 5 years that they've truly identified who this gentleman is. There was a guy on the Red Sox at the time named Yip Owens, and he was a catcher. He played exactly one game with the Red Sox in 1905, and many people thought that this must be Yip Owens. The known picture of Yip Owens is a side view, and if you trying to compare a front view to a side view, I know can be difficult. And I've looked at the two pictures, this card compared to the other, and have found that, yep, that could be the guy. That definitely could be him, but it's not. Many people, though, for many years thought it was. In fact, the guy that finally solved the puzzle was the curator for the National Baseball Hall of Fame. Just a couple years ago, he found the original larger picture of which what you see here was snipped off of, and he's wearing a White Sox jersey. So that's kind of a clue, is that none of these known Red Sox players are wearing a dark uniform. So this actually is Frank Owen, who played for the Chicago White Sox in the 1900s. He won 21 games 3 times in his career. So he's actually was a decent pitcher, well known at the time. He never played for the Red Sox. So this is actually an error card. And if you're a Chicago White Sox collector, this is your guy. He belongs in your collection. I will keep it since it says Boston, and since it's listed in all the checklists as a Boston Red Sox card, I'll keep it in my collection as well. But yeah, this is Frank Owen. Played for the Chicago White Sox. Pretty decent pitcher. And infamous because time forgot him. There's this rare picture that it's this picture, but more of his body all the way down to his waist. And you see the White Sox on his jersey here that he's wearing. So it took somebody digging and finding some old picture out of the archives to solve that one. So Billy Owen is actually Frank Owen, who played for the White Sox. So I hope you're all having a great weekend so far. I wanted to just make a quick mention before it gets too far past us. If any of you paid attention to the Little League World Series this year, my team South Dakota actually did really, really well. We ended up getting 4th, but we had that Gavin Weir. You probably, if you watch the Little League World Series, you're familiar with Gavin Weir. He was the pitcher for South Dakota that pitched 2 no-hitters. actually struck out 86% of the batters he faced in the contest, and the teams, he was just unhittable. This team is from my city. I'd never heard of Mr. Weir before, but the coach of the team goes to my church, and his son was one of the players. He goes to my church, and then there was another player who is the son of a high school classmate of mine on the team, and I've kept in touch with the dad over the years since high school. So it's kind of fun to see a couple people out there on national television doing well that I actually knew their families or knew who they were. I think that they obviously have a good reason for having that pitch count rule in effect, which prevented Weir from pitching in the finals, and then the third place game. He wasn't allowed to pitch in either of those games because he had maxed out his innings. And so South Dakota didn't win, but I honestly believe if there wasn't a pitch cap rule, South Dakota would have won the Little League World Series because this guy was absolutely unhittable. But anyway, just thought I'd throw that out. Little South Dakota thing going on there. I'm also going to just pan back a little bit and show you this new table while I've got you all here. Bought this table a couple weeks ago now, and it's got a Lazy Susan in the middle. I'm trying to figure out how in the world that might come in handy for a video. I don't know, put the camera in the middle maybe and then just rotate around the room. Not sure yet, but this table came. It is so shiny that I do have reflection problems now in my recordings. So I have to be very aware of that. Oftentimes I have to turn off the light, the top light in the room, and just go with the spotlight, the camera light. But anyway, love this table. It's higher off the ground. I'm standing up to it now. It's got a lot of space to spread out when I'm doing my sorting. And you know how it is. You get stuff in, you have piles, stuff you've got in but haven't sorted, haven't entered in the trading card database, need to do a video about. So this gives me plenty of room to do all that kind of fun stuff. So anyway, that's a little bit about what's going on here. Hope you are having a great weekend. Please click subscribe and like if you haven't already. Would love to have you stick around and watch more of my videos. Really appreciate you. We'll talk to you again soon. Bye.